Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are all doing really well. It's been super long since I've done a sit down video. I'm really excited to be filming this video. So early this week I posted up a question on Instagram asking you guys, what sorts of questions you'd like to ask me, all about, work, what I do for work, what do my day-to-day activities look like. So thank you for everyone for sending through your questions. I will go through them, but I did want to start off by, giving you guys a little bit more context, more background around, what I actually do for work, how long I've actually been there, and then I'll jump into your guys' questions. So if you guys are interested, then please keep watching, and if you haven't already, then please do subscribe to my channel down below, and let's just get started on this video. Okay, so just starting off by giving you guys a little bit of context as to what I do, how long I've been in this role. As you guys would have seen in my, what it's like working at the Big Four experience video, if you haven't seen that, I will link that up here for you guys to check out and in the description box below. But basically I mentioned, at the end of the video that I was leaving KPMG. Yes, I used to work at KPMG, and ever since then I've been working at one of Australia's Big Four banks. So I won't disclose what bank it is because I feel like, because I'm still working there and I don't want, my YouTube to be related to work, and I want to sort of keep that separate. This is more like, a personal thing, and that's more professional. So in due time I will let you guys know, but for now I'm just gonna, not mention the bank's name. But yeah, I've been working at a bank for the last maybe 3.5, almost 4 months now. So obviously after leaving KPMG, I took a 1 week break and I was in Fiji. You guys obviously would have seen the vlogs for that as well. So yeah, I took a 1 week break before starting my job, and the role that I'm in is a risk sort of consulting job, which is similar to what I used to do before. The only difference I would say is that, instead of working for different sort of clients and going out to clients and doing, their internal audit, I'm actually just doing it for the bank itself. So we go in and we test, a number of controls, and we really just assess, how strong these controls are for the bank. And yeah, that's basically what I'm currently doing. So my division really falls in, under risk assurance, and under that I fall into consumer, so consumer banking. So I look at products like, mortgages, deposits, credit cards, that kind of stuff. So all consumer retail sort of products, which you guys will all be familiar with. So I chose that division because I wanted to, learn more about, day-to-day banking and things that were actually relevant to me. So that's why I went into the consumer banking space. Prior to this, so when I was actually working at KPMG, I was actually seconded to this bank as well for about 3 months, I think, 3 months, yeah. And I was actually in the business banking space. So I did that for 3 months. That gave me a good, sort of insight idea into, what the work was like. So that was a good sort of experience that I had whilst working at KPMG. I got, sort of my foot in the door and really just understanding what it's like working at a bank. So yeah, I did business banking then, and then now I'm in consumer banking. I really enjoy it. I think I'm learning a lot. It's, there's so much to learn about the bank. I'm learning something new every day. So yeah, that's a little bit about, the bank and what sort of I do. But just to give you guys a little bit of an idea as to what I do, my day-to-day activities and what they look like. So, basically I would have a control to test. So we need to test obviously the design effectiveness and the operating effectiveness, and we go in, test that, control, with a deep dive. This is different compared to KPMG because, it wasn't ever a deep dive. It was more, you just scratch the surface, you go in for 2 weeks and you're out. Whereas here, we need to understand exactly, what the root cause is of the issue. Are there any risks involved, and etc, etc. So a lot of my work is heavily based around controls testing, and that's literally what I do. If you don't know what controls testing is, it's basically, where firms, organizations have controls. So a control is something that sort of mitigates or avoids risk. So for example, I mentioned this in my KPMG video as well, so you can go check that video out. Basically I go in and make sure that the control is actually effective, if it's, designed correctly, and if it's not, then it's obviously failing, and then there could be, other consequences for the bank. So yeah, that's basically what I do, identifying, what's effective, what's not effective, provide recommendations, actions, and we raise issues for, the relevant people to address. So all in all, that's exactly what I do on a day-to-day basis. Hopefully that explains it to you guys. Okay, now jumping into the questions that I did get asked from Instagram. So the first question that I got asked was, how do I stay motivated to go to work every day, and what keeps me energized? So I think for me, what keeps me motivated every day, for me to actually go to work, I think it definitely helps that I go on, you know, frequent holidays. I try to take as many holidays as I can with my annual leave, you know, and obviously before starting this job as well, because I feel like, you know, taking a break, taking, you know, some time off really allows you to just relax and recover and unwind, and then, you know, you come back feeling a lot more productive, a lot more energized. So I think definitely taking a break from work, you know, from time to time is a really good way to stay energized for work and actually be motivated, and so that you aren't really burnt out. I think another thing I'll have to say, I don't know if it's another way that I am motivated, but in comparison to my previous job, I feel like here I have a lot more work to do. I feel like, you know, my day is really productive. You know, there's never any time wasting. I'm not chatting to people. I'm not, you know, doing those little tedious tasks. Here it's like proper work. Like I'm actually really productive during the day. And if I'm not productive during the day, then that leaves me really bored. And obviously then you won't be motivated. I think it's all about balancing, you know, how much work you have on your plate, because, you know, I felt for me personally when I was back in my previous job, there obviously wasn't enough work going around, and I was really not motivated to come into work knowing that there was nothing for me to do that day. That was one reason why I wasn't motivated, whereas this is the complete opposite here. There's always so much to do. There's always things happening, things are moving. It's quite a dynamic environment, and I feel like there's never a chance where you're just sitting there, you know, twiddling your fingers. I feel like there's always something that you can do, and that makes me motivated to come to work, knowing that there's something that I need to complete. You know, the onus is on me to go in and complete it. There's more responsibility in this role, whereas previously I didn't really have that much of responsibility. You know, I could sort of delegate the work and it'll be done by someone else, but here it's really all up to me to do. You're sort of managing a portfolio, so to say, and you're really required to like step up and actually do the work, and that sort of commitment that's required of you is what's motivating for me. That's the reason why I get up every morning and I have to go to work. Another way that I do stay motivated is I do really like this job that I'm currently in. Is very, you know, flexible in terms of hours. I love the hours. It's very you know, work-life balance friendly, so I really like that about this job. I'm never sort of, you know, burnt out. There's always enough consistent work coming through, and it's not like I'm working late. It's literally, my hours are literally 9 to 5, and by 5 p.m. you literally see the office is empty. Everyone goes home, goes to their kids, you know, parents leave, etc, etc. So I really like that, you know, you can shut off and you don't need to sort of think about the work and take it home with you, which is really good, because, you know, then you start losing motivation, you start becoming drained and burnt out and whatnot. And I think another reason that does keep me motivated is that knowing that if I didn't have this job, then I would only be doing YouTube, or I'd be doing something that wasn't really something aligned to what I wanted to do. Work on its own is something, you know, completely different to what I want to do on the side. So obviously doing work and then having your side hustle, which you come back to, you know, after work every day, work towards that, and potentially down the track, you know, building that side hustle, making it big and, you know, growing it to potentially allowing you to leave your full-time job. So at the moment I'm not at that stage, so I obviously need to go to work, but it's definitely paying the bills, you know. It's something that I have to do, and it's secure, and I'm liking it. It's something that I can do and I know how to do, so that's another reason. Next question. So what is my favorite part of my job? So I think my favorite part of my job would have to be I think I like the fact, you know, compared to my previous job, so because obviously, you know, the jobs are very similar, so I'm obviously going to compare it to my previous job. What I like about this one, and the reason why I changed, obviously I like the flexibility. I like, you know, it's honestly 9 to 5, and I like that sort of environment. You know, you're in, you're out, you forget about it, you go home. I like that environment. And another thing I like is, you know, my days are really productive. I feel like I go to work, there's set tasks for me to complete. I feel like I'm churning out a lot more work. It's productive, I'm busy, the day goes by quicker. I like that about this job. I'm not just sitting there twiddling my fingers. There's a lot to do, and I think it's just the overall satisfaction. You know, my main job is to do controls testing. I like the whole satisfaction of maybe, you know, you go in, you test the control, you try to find what issues there are, you know, and see if, you know, there's a risk involved, and that sort of process in itself, the investigation part, you know, you're sort of like a detective trying to figure out what's going on and what's going wrong. So I like that aspect to to it. It's always, you know, different every day. How do I use my KPMG experience in my current role? I think I'm using all the experience that I had from KPMG. So what that means is I feel like I've learned so much more here. I feel like I've already used it up. That's helped me to sort of, you know, be in this role. But I feel like here, whatever I've learned is far more sort of just in depth, and it's definitely a deep dive of, you know, controls testing, and I'm not looking at reviews as per se, you know, as in prudential standards, you know, doing gap analysis all the time. Everything that I've learned at KPMG did definitely help me building the whole professional side of things, coming from that sort of internal audit environment, being curious, asking questions, you know, investigating. That definitely helps in this sort of role. But yeah, there's definitely a lot to learn, and just, you know, being professional about how you go about, you know, your work, because obviously starting out as a graduate at KPMG, you learn everything, you know, from foundations to whatever I learned at that stage, and you carry that over. So I feel like, yeah, the experience that I had at KPMG definitely allowed me to, you know, step into this role. So how did I enter my role in my current job? So as mentioned before, I had actually done a secondment at this bank when I was working at KPMG. I did a secondment for about 3 months, as I mentioned, and that was all well and good. And then obviously a recruiter hit me up early this year, and I wasn't ready to leave, so I obviously declined that. But then later, towards the middle of the year, I was like, maybe, you know, looking into new options, new opportunities. So I did reach back to the recruiter and asked if the job was available, and he said yes. So then obviously came for an interview, did all of that. Within a week I had the job secured, which was amazing. So I think my previous experience definitely helped me. That's how I think I got into this role. Next question, how to deal with office bullying and how to deal with toxic people in the workplace. I think this is very important because there are lots of incidents of, you know, bullying, and it may not be, you know, at the surface, you can't really see anything. Everything may seem to be fine, but a lot of people do experience office bullying. It's a little low-key and it's very personal. I mean, I feel like I also did experience office, you know, bullying, or, you know, toxic people maybe at the workplace, where they don't make you feel, you know, welcome, or, you know, they sort of exclude you from certain things because you don't fit in, or, you know, whatever it may be. With all of that being said, I feel like if that's the case, like, so be it. I feel like you shouldn't really take it to heart, and you shouldn't take it too personally, because at the end of the day, like, if you're doing something, you come into work, you like the work you do it. It does help for, you know, your environment of people around you to be all nice and friendly. And if your immediate team isn't providing you that, then you can obviously just reach out to other people, make other friends, or, you know, speak to other people outside of your immediate team. And it's not like your immediate team is going to be constantly toxic to you. It's maybe, you know, 1 or 2 people at most that are like this. And if that's the case, just let them be. Like, if they're sort of investing time and energy and effort into being the way they are, and it's just going to impact them more than it's going to impact you. And I don't feel like you should really invest into that too much. It's just a reflection of them, honestly. Like, they're sad, they don't have anything better to do, and if that's what they want to do, then, you know, good for them. If that's what keeps them happy and excited, bullying other people, good on them, whatever. Just avoid that person. Like, honestly, just avoid that person. I know it's hard, it's easier said than done. You just need to be professional, be firm, be confident in yourself, and just know that, like, it's just not worth it, really. Just think about it. It's really not worth it. Just stand up for yourself and just move on, get on with your day, get on with your work. You have better things to do, and that sort of negativity is not what you need. Next question, how to work out my dream job. So I think how you should approach this is, you know, fine, everyone's got a job that's paying the bills, everyone's got something that's, you know, earning them a little bit of money, but at the end of the day, that's not what you want to do. So what you do in that case, because you need that money, you need that, you know, you need that sort of security, safety net, etc. So you continue doing that, that's fine. But then time off that you have from work, you know, your weekends, after work, before work even, you work on your side hustle. You work on your side hustle, you sort of try to figure what that is. You work on something that you're passionate about, what you've always dreamt about doing. You work on that on the side. I know it's really sad and really frustrating that you don't get to fully devote yourself to your side hustle, and that's really annoying, but it is what it is. You work on it a little bit each day, and you know, once you've established that, then you're ready to leave your full-time job. But in the meantime, you've got to keep, you know, doing full-time job along with your side hustle and just sort of pushing that equally and not sort of losing motivation between the two jobs. Like if you love this side hustle passion thing, but it's not ready to provide you with, you know, that safety net, then obviously you need to commit all that time as well and effort and energy. When you're at work, you fully, you know, commit to work and you do that properly and to the best ability that you can. And when you come home, then you come and do your, you know, your side hustle and you commit to that wholeheartedly as well. Now that's how you work towards your dream job. But in terms of identifying what that dream job could be, I think it all comes down to exposing yourself to different situations, environments, experiences, activities, people. I think you need to do all of that to be, you know, fully wholesome sort of person, and that will, I think, trigger new ideas, new inspirations to come out of it for you to understand what it is that you want to do and what your dream job is. Just even sitting down one day and just writing the things that have just ever, you know, come to your mind. You know, write anything that you like doing. Like, what are your hobbies? Where do you see yourself in the next couple of years? And what do you usually spend your time doing? Usually it's like, for example, like I spend a lot of time watching YouTube videos, so then I was like, oh, maybe I could do that myself. So just see and analyze yourself and see what you like doing. I feel like it's the best sort of way to try to come up with your dream job and start working towards your dream job. Another question which I'm going to answer is how to wake up fresh for work each day. I think waking up fresh for work each day starts off the night before, so making sure that you have enough sleep. I'm definitely a big advocate on having my proper 8 hours of sleep. I feel like if I don't have my 8 hours of sleep, I feel very, very lethargic, very drained, and really not alert and, you know, present at work. So I love my sleep. I wish I could sleep all the time, but 8 hours is what I love. So definitely love my sleep, and I think that helps me to wake up fresh every day. Some people like to take cold showers in the morning to really make them, you know, wake up. I don't really do that. You could just wash your face with cold water. That could help. I think having a cold, refreshing smoothie in the morning is really, really nice. Yeah, it's just a commitment thing. You just need to stick to it, and hopefully it works. And those are all the questions that I'll be answering for today. If you have a question that I didn't answer, please leave your questions down below. I'll be happy to answer them for you. I am quite active on, you know, replying to comments, so be sure to leave a question down below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, then please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks guys.